Hey Jess, thanks for coming in.
Hi.
Hi. So I just want to take a moment to kind of summarize where we left off last time.
Yeah.
So we talked a little bit about your relationship, your new relationship with David, and that you're having kind of some feelings, some different feelings and anxiety about his kind of friendship with a girl.
Yeah.
And so you're just trying to kind of figure out what that looks like for you.
Yes.
Okay. I just want to take a minute to kind of check in to see if there's anything that came up since last session.
Yeah, actually, so the same anxieties and worries kind of it happened again. He was hanging out with his friend, and he told me about it, and he said he knew I was going to be upset, and that kind of triggered my thoughts of I should be upset, and the same thoughts I had before, which led me to feel super down and have an anxiety attack. Yeah, and I had a full panic attack, crying uncontrollably, had to leave the environment I was in. So the same things we talked about before are still happening.
Okay, so when he was telling you about what happened, when he was just hanging out with this girl, the thoughts came, and then feelings came, and then the behaviors. Okay.
Yeah.
So what I would like to try, if you're up for it, is a thoughts, feelings, and behaviors exercise.
Sure.
Yeah, so what that kind of looks like is it creates a visual to kind of name our thoughts of what's happening, look at how the feelings are, and then the behavior and kind of how things maybe will impact or interrelate.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, okay. So I like to kind of do this with the client and draw a triangle, and you can kind of collaborate and co-construct it with me.
Okay.
And I will write down your words and your thoughts,
Sure.
and you can always change it or correct me.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. So you ready?
Yeah.
Great. So I'm going to draw this triangle here.
Mm-hmm.
Where would you like to place the thoughts, feelings, and behaviors?
At the top.
Okay. And feelings.
Over here.
Great. And the behaviors.
Right.
Okay. So let's use this example of what happened recently and try to break it down a little bit. So he called you and said that he was hanging out with this girl. What's her name?
Amanda.
Amanda. So he called you, David, and said, I'm hanging out with Amanda.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of thoughts came to mind for you?
Well, first it started with he already knows how I react. So when he called, he was different because he was anticipating me getting upset. So as soon as he said I'm with Amanda, my thoughts were, why is he with her?
Okay. So why is he with her? And that was kind of your automatic thought was, why is he with her?
Yeah.
And further that, not you.
Yeah. And then I thought he's spending too much time with her because it's not just like every now and then, it's all the time. So he's spending too much. So why is he spending time with her? Why is he spending too much time with her?
And so why is he with her, and why is he spending so much of his time is with her? Okay. And what kind of thoughts, come up for you when you're saying he's with her all the time? What do you say to yourself?
I think like he's going to want to be with her, not me.
Okay. So because he spends so much time with her, he's going to want to be with her.
Yeah, like feelings might develop between them.
So his feelings may change to be more with her.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I feel like he might get closer to her while I'm gone, and then.
And so the more time he spends with her, the more close he's going to get.
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So when you're thinking these thoughts, what feelings kind of come up for you?
Anxious.
Okay, so anxiety. Okay.
Mad.
So anger. Okay.
Worried.
Yeah.
Overwhelmed.
Okay. And so when you're kind of thinking these things, why is he with her? He's always with her. The feelings of anxiety and anger.
It just starts to build the more I think about it.
Okay. And then from that, what kind of behaviors come up for you?
Yeah, so as soon as I start to think it and then feel those things, I shut down.
And what does shut down look like?
So right now we're doing long distance, so I don't communicate with him.
Okay. And can you paint a picture of what that would look like?
So I'll usually just put my phone down, or if not answer his calls, or if I do, It's either super vague, super brief, like just not myself, not my loving, happy, outgoing self, because I have those thoughts and feelings. Like,
so it sounds like you almost isolate yourself.
I do, yeah. Yeah, and then if it's a really bad anxiety attack or panic attack, I'll like leave the situation because I can't stop feeling that way.
So you isolate and disengage when the feelings and thoughts come in.
Yeah.
And that would be different than who you usually are, as kind of loving, caring, present.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm really noticing from this triangle kind of those thoughts come into play, and then so why is he with her? Why, does he wants to be with her, right? He wants to be close, and then you get anxious and worried and angry, and then you kind of shut down, which is isolating and kind of just disengaging.
Yeah. And then like reflecting on this right now, I notice like when I shut down and when I don't communicate, it triggers more different thoughts than what I previously had.
And on a scale of kind of 1 to 10, when you're having those thoughts and feelings and behaviors, right? With 10, it increases like significantly, or 0, it doesn't increase that much. Where would you say the increase of those behaviors come in?
Like, do they happen more?
Yeah. Does it increase kind of with it? Like, do the behaviors increase with the thoughts and feelings?
No. So when I have these behaviors, it then triggers different thoughts. Like, he's going to leave me because I acted this way.
And like, out of 0 to 10, how much does that increase? Like with 10 increasing significantly.
I don't think I understand how much does what increase?
So you know how the thoughts and like the behaviors increase. How much
do my thoughts increase? Yeah, rapidly. Like a 10.
Like a 10. Yeah. So when it's happening for you, your think, it's increasing and it just goes in a circle. Okay. So looking at this triangle, kind of thinking about your thoughts, feelings, and behavior, what would be one area that you would like to kind of look at to see what it would be like if it was different?
My thoughts and behaviors mostly. I think if I could work on self-talk and work on my thoughts when I do hear her name or hear that they're hanging out, then I could control these two.
So what would be the most, like thoughts or behaviors, what would be the first one? Thoughts.
Yeah.
And is there a thought that kind of sticks out the most, or something that you would like to try to work on?
I think if I could summarize my thoughts, it would just be, why is he spending so much time with her? Okay. Or just like the idea that he's with her. Or maybe the thought that he shouldn't be hanging out with another girl.
Okay, so to kind of shift your thinking about why is he hanging out with her might shift some of the feelings and behaviors.
Yeah.
That would be kind of where you'd like to start.
Because the trigger thought is the why is he doing this?
Okay.
Yeah.
So kind of thinking something different instead of why is he with her?
Yeah.
Might kind of interrupt some of those feelings and behaviors. So what kind of things do you think you'd say instead?
There's a number of different things. I'd like to just remind myself that him and I have had the conversation and that he's told me multiple times it's nothing to worry about. His family doesn't question it, like they're strictly friends. She's in a relationship, so with he's told me he's 100% committed to me. So just reassuring myself with those positive thoughts, and then kind of just like thinking that his other friends are out of town and he's just a really nice person and it's just who he is. And then also like I don't want him to unfriend her.
Okay. So it sounds like from hearing that, almost replacing it with a different thought that this is who he is. He's not doing this.
Yeah, he's not doing it to be like malicious or anything or sneaky. Like he's open and honest with me.
Okay. So what would be kind of one phrase you could say to yourself to replace the he should be with or he shouldn't be with her?
Like just as simple as they're friends.
They're friends. And so just the simply saying, instead of why is he with her and having that thought, replacing it with, they're just friends, what would that look like?
I think I would be able to if I could just think they're friends and leave it at that without kind of making these whole other thoughts come in. Like if I could find a way to block out all those other thoughts, then I would just go on about my day.
I noticed even from when you said that, kind of you took a breath.
Yeah.
Like instantly that shifted.
Yeah.
How you kind of were. So even just the saying they're friends, period, how would that impact your relationship?
Well, I think that the feelings wouldn't come with it. Like I would just be able to go on about my day. And I also think that it would strengthen it because I'm now proving to him that I'm not going to get upset, because it's happened multiple times. And it seems like the last time that it happened, it was a big blowout. And I kind of got scared that like, maybe I'm really sabotaging this. And he got scared that like we rushed too quick because like he doesn't want me to be upset about it. Because we both recognize it's healthy to have friendships and to be secure in a relationship.
So you noticed that kind of when you had those negative thoughts that they really increased, and that then you got more scared and worried that you would lose your relationship. Yeah. So really the value in we're just friends is really valuable for you. Okay.
Yeah.
So what would that look like? Like I'm trying to picture, you guys hanging out, or you just getting a phone call from him, let's say, and he's said this exact thing.
Yeah.
I'm hanging out with Amanda.
What I would like for it to be is just normal. Like when he called on Friday, or when I called him on Friday and he said he was with Amanda, I could tell he was anticipating it to be awkward, and he was nervous to tell me. And then he texted me and said that it was a bad feeling to know I'd be upset all day, and like I felt like I was set up to be upset and hurt and anxious. So it would kind of look like just being normalized. Like I don't want him to be nervous to talk about it.
So it's really important for you to kind of be present and have him not kind of be different and you be different.
Yeah.
So let's say he called right now, right? And he said, I'm with Amanda, and he was a bit off. And you kind of said to yourself in your thoughts, we'll just be friends.
Yeah. I think that
friends.
If it does happen again, I think that I want to have another conversation with him to let him know like I've done a lot of reflecting on it, and like I'm working towards being okay with it. So I just want like him to act normal, and that like he can bring it up, because I've told him before, like don't mention her name to me.
So it almost sounds like kind of a pre-conversation before you get to the phone call might help you in kind of using some of those. They're just friends.
Yeah.
And so let's say you do kind of have that conversation before. What would that look like?
Just like a normal. So the conversation would just be me explaining to him that since Friday, because he knew I was super upset and like it just spiraled out of my control. I had no coping skills, nothing, even though I know this is not my first rodeo. So yeah, it would just kind of be me being open with him and just honest and telling him that since the last incident or last time, that I've really done a lot of thinking, and like I've come to terms that they're friends and that I want him to have those friendships, and that I know he's committed to me, and then kind of just say like, can it just be normal? Like,
And what would that feel like for you?
It would feel really good, because like when I have those feelings and irrational behaviors, I feel like I'm crazy. Like I feel like I'm like a crazy girlfriend. And to have that conversation, I would just feel really mature, and like I've come a long way from like, because where I'm from in my community, the people who I've been with, it's really weird if you were to have friends of the opposite sex while you're in a committed relationship. So kind of, it would kind of feel good.
So from kind of all that growth that you've learned about yourself, you'd like to kind of present in a mature way, and that would feel really good for you in your relationship.
I would feel like, because right now I don't feel like I'm being supportive when I act like that, and I'm being dramatic, and it caused this huge fight for us on Friday, and like it was just awful. It was exhausting. I had to leave. I had to go to bed. I wasn't able to cope. So
really a lot of the thoughts and then the feelings and then the actions, I mean, it sounded like it really impacted.
Yeah, and then after I have this big blow, then I'm just sorry, I'm guilty, I'm feeling crazy, irrational. I just want to fix things.
And it's not somewhere where you want to be.
No. I want to just like end the cycle before it keeps going.
So having this conversation to you would kind of stop that cycle.
Yeah.
And what would he notice if you kind of had that conversation?
I think he would be like happy, because he would notice that like I'm just trying to work towards being better. Like I'm just growing and coming to terms with things that I normally would find strange. Because like I've expressed, like I'm not used to this. It would kind of just prove to him that like I'm trying to make our relationship as healthy as possible, and like, yeah.
And what would he see? Like if I kind of had a video camera, or he was looking at, what would I notice? What would he see from you?
I think that he would just see love, like that I'm just like, I want him to be happy. Really. I don't want him to feel like he's hurt me or feel like he has to make a choice or anything. I just want him,
So he might see you kind of happy, or maybe smiling, or if he was with you in person. Mm-hmm. And so I'm just thinking, it sounds like you really, from this learning about yourself and wanting to be a different person for you and what you really value. And it sounds like connections and relationship is really important to you.
Yeah, very important to me.
And so even this kind of conversation, and also just that one thought of they're just friends will help you kind of.
Yeah, I'm glad that we came up with this one thought, because I have a very active mind. So I try to come up with all these
thoughts,
all these different thoughts of like, okay, they're just friends, he's told me this, and it can be overwhelming, right? So if I could just stick to that one, like I don't need to go into all those details. I would love to be able to just think, okay, they're just friends, and literally not even go into all those other thoughts.
And then that they're just friends, how would then impact your feelings and behaviors?
I feel like I would just go on as normal. I would just continue to be like my happy self.
And so that happy self, what does that look like?
It's actually like a really overwhelming feeling, because I've never felt this happy like in so long. And it's almost like I want so badly to protect that happiness that like I'm willing to change my thoughts. Like I really, really want to work on this part of myself.
Sounds like you're really motivated to kind of show up in that way. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So just having that one thought, you are even going to notice, and you've kind of noticed how that process has already started to begin.
And like another thing I think about, like what's the purpose? Like I keep looking at the big picture, because like I really want to be with him and want this like perfect life. It's like my life goal. So it's like, what is this one little friendship? Like it's so insignificant.
So it sounds like this one thought can really just impact, and you don't in a good way, or a negative way, it can really just shift things for you.
Yeah.
So tell me, when, like, what is that conversation? I noticed that you said already that you wanted to have that the next time you talk to him. Tell me what that
I just want to be open with him, which I feel like I can be. Like it's not going to cause me any bad feelings to talk to him about it.
Okay.
Just kind of having a conversation to tell him that I was reflecting and that I want it to be normal. I don't want it to be like a topic that we can't discuss. We should be able to.
And so thinking of kind of like a timeline, like what does that look like for you? Like, do you want to tell him the next time, or when would you tell him?
I feel motivated to tell him like right now.
Wow.
Yeah, because I just feel like it'll be a step of growth. Like I feel like it'll really be, like when we talked last about it, I was kind of like, well, I'm not going to get upset and like, we'll just not talk about it or whatever. But I kind of just want to like have that discussion when I'm feeling lighter.
Okay.
so that I come across as like, well.
So it sounds like for you that you're really wanting to do this the next time you talk to him.
Yeah.
But it needs to be kind of in a way that you feel lighter.
Yeah.
So what does that lighter mean?
When I'm in a really good space, when I'm, yeah.
And a good space would mean, what would that mean?
Like when I'm not having any negative thoughts or worries.
Okay.
Yeah.
So does that kind of, the next time you talk to him, that's something that you really want to try to do to kind of set that foundation?
Yeah, but now that I'm thinking about it, it's kind of like I want to make sure that I'm like fully able to go through with just saying they're just friends. Like I don't want to keep saying I'm not going to do it, I'm not going to do it.
Okay.
And then do it again.
So what for you happens first, the conversation or the thought?
I don't know. Okay. I don't know. I think the conversation should happen first before,
Okay. So for you, having
that
conversation.
I don't feel like it would be helpful if he was just like, I'm hanging out with Amanda, and then I was like, oh, I really put so much thought into this. I know you're just friends. I'm not. I think the conversation would be beneficial to have it first so that he feels comfortable coming to me instead of him coming to me and being like, I'm with Amanda. And then I'm like, you know?
So that almost might set the stage for you guys not to kind of be different, but to acknowledge this is what you're both trying to do.
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that question because now I know I don't want to wait for it to happen again before I have the conversation. Yeah.
So it's important for you to kind of really lay that foundation before you kind of get to the next step of having that thought to change the rest.
Because I like to have clear expectations like in all sorts of domains of my relationship. Like I don't like to be, I think it's healthy to have those and not like wait till a rupture.
So it sounds like really that foundation, that value is really important to kind of acknowledge this is our expectations.
Yeah.
And then you can build.
Yeah.
So what do you think? Like, when do you think you'll have the next opportunity to talk to him?
I think I'm going to just see how I feel tonight.
Okay. And
because this is something that recently happened. I don't want to wait too long to bring it up. I feel like now, like, we've had a great day of talking, and I feel like just so overwhelmed with happiness and love. And I feel like it would be a good way to kind of show him my commitment to growing.
So, and you mentioned kind of being in that light space where you're calm and you're happy and you're not having those negative thoughts. That would be the time for you to do that. Okay. Yeah. So does that seem like a natural kind of first step for you?
Yeah, because I'm really looking at like tackling this issue. I don't want it to happen again. And I really got scared.
So how do you feel about kind of taking it on right now?
Good. Yeah. I don't think that I think that I've thought about it enough that I'm to the point where I know I don't want this cycle to ever happen again.
And so for you, it's really important just to kind of slow it down, set the foundation when you're in a really good space and you're calm and not having those negative thoughts. Okay. Yeah. So why don't we see how that conversation goes and see what that feels like for you. Yeah. And then we can kind of talk about it next session and then kind of move into a little bit more of their friends.
Yeah, sounds good.
Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Okay, great.